Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. Information emerging over the weekend that 5 Americans, including U.S. troops, says a U.S. official, were injured in an Iranian missile attack at a U.S. base in Kuwait on Wednesday. They were since been returned to duty. This comes as President Trump weighs a deal with Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz. It's a deal that could depend on Israel. We're learning the expanding war in Lebanon against Iranian-backed Hezbollah has completed negotiations with the Trump administration. ABC's Ian Panel in Jerusalem.
Hundreds of thousands of people have been ordered to leave their homes, with more than 400 killed during the ceasefire. Hezbollah stepping up its attacks in northern Israel.
Prime Minister Netanyahu ordering his troops to advance, but Iran insisting that Israel cease fire as part of any broader deal with the U.S.
After a very challenging recovery at the site of a blast at a paper mill in Washington State, County Coroner Dana Tucker announcing,
"Our office has recovered and identified all 9 missing individuals."
Recovered from inside the collapsed tank containing a powerful chemical. But there was better news in Laos. 4 of the 6 remaining miners trapped in a cave were able to get out by themselves on Saturday.
Cries of joy as they embrace rescuers and collapse onto the ground.
These guys have decided they didn't want to stay in the cave any longer.
I spoke with Josh Richards, one of the rescue divers. He had been moments away from entering the cave.
These guys have literally just crawled themselves out 300 metres through a horrendously tight cave.
Those men perhaps sensing a make-or-break moment as water levels fall, seeing an opportunity to get out and taking it.
The driver in Friday's deadly bus crash along I-95 south of Washington, D.C., charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. 5 people confirmed dead, including 2 children, and more than 40 reported injured. You're listening to ABC News.
Hot summer days and high energy bills are on the way. Upgrade your home's old leaky windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4 Get 4 free sale. Yes, half of your new beautiful energy efficient windows free. Plus no money down and no monthly payments or interest for 2 years. Call now 866-200-8670 or windownation.com. In select markets, trust our family of brands, New South Window and ArmorView. That's 866-200-8670 or windownation.com to book a consultation.
I've been telling you all about the Secret War on our cash and the free report you can receive a copy of by contacting Swiss America at 800-289-2646. I'd also like to encourage you to subscribe to their podcast on YouTube. Just search Swiss America Trading. The podcast can provide you a ton of vital information and financial news in the challenging and uncertain times we're in. Subscribe today. Learn more about BRICS, industry leaders, and their market predictions for the future, along with what you might expect to see in terms of precious metal performance in the weeks and months ahead. Message and data rates may apply.
Another sonic boom was heard overhead, this one in New England. It's the second time Americans reported hearing a loud boom in just days.
The U.S. Geological Survey now saying this was a sonic boom, possibly caused by a suspected meteor that may have exploded high above the Massachusetts coast. It comes just days after another mysterious boom shook parts of South Carolina. Officials said that sound was also consistent with a sonic boom, not an earthquake.
ABC's Olivia Rubin. An update on the American missionary doctor that was treating people in Central Africa before he was diagnosed with Ebola.
A colleague says that the infected American doctor, Peter Stafford, is, quote, doing really well, but remains weak as he undergoes treatment in Berlin. U.S. officials now setting up a special medical facility at a base in central Kenya, which would be used to potentially care for Americans who are at high risk of exposure to the virus. But a Kenyan judge is putting that on hold for now. All of this is unfolding as the U.S. prepares to host the World Cup in less than 2 weeks.
ABC's Marcus Moore. The lead prosecutor in former FBI Director James Comey's Seychelles case is withdrawn from the case. Matthew Petracca was the lone prosecutor assigned to the case when it was unsealed late last month. It stems from Comey's social media post depicting Seychelles, with the Justice Department claiming that amounted to a threat against President Trump. Comey's attorneys intend to push to have the case dismissed before it can go to trial. The DOJ didn't include any explanation for the move in the high-profile case. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Hot summer days and high energy bills are on the way. Upgrade your home.
Join Beth Andrews for the Net Worth Financial Hour Saturdays at 1 to get the news and information you need to make your retirement dream a reality. That's the Net Worth Financial Hour with Beth Andrews, Saturdays at 1. Net Worth Advisors, LLC is a registered investment advisor.
At a time when children are in crisis, the Kids Mental Health Foundation envisions a future where mental health is a vital part of growing up, and support starts with all of us. At home, at school, at practice, everywhere kids are.
If you're at school having a bad day, you just don't want to do anything.
I just get these thoughts like, do better. All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed?
He's just in tears in the huddle. I was like, what's wrong? And he's just like, I'm just so frustrated, and I didn't know what to do.
None of my undergraduate studies talked about mental health.
Teachers need tons of help. The Kids Mental Health Foundation is the leading organization promoting mental health for children in the U.S. and has free tools and information developed by experts.
Having those resources is the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
Check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
Hi, I'm Peter Sagal. When we were growing up, my two brothers and I just loved our Uncle Ted. He was like a really cool big brother who always brought around the best toys and took us to the best places and with whom we always had the most fun. It was odd, though, when we got older, to realize he wasn't nearly as outgoing and adventurous with other adults. I found out much later that this might have had something to do with the ostomy bag he wore ever since he was diagnosed with Crohn's disease as a teenager and had part of his lower intestine removed. Theodor Skolnick, my Uncle Ted, died last year at the age of 80, never having once mentioned his illness to me or my brothers. He left a large bequest to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation to help fund better treatments for these diseases and also to help other people, old and young, seek and get help for the situation that he was never able to talk about. Don't feel you need to hide your Crohn's or colitis. Go to spillyourguts.org to learn more about the treatments available and even find a specialist. That's spillyourguts.org.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings a good deal of sunshine and a rather nice second half of the weekend with a high of 76 with just some clouds around for tonight and a low of 49. That somewhat chilly start gives way to another comfortable day tomorrow with plenty of sun, the high 75, with more sun and more nice weather Tuesday, high again 75. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Rob Fracks on the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, it is your Sunday morning, and your Pratt Pack is here and ready to go. So less than 48 hours after Freedom 250 unveiled the entertainment lineup for its Great American State Fair in Washington, D.C., a growing number announced performers publicly saying they would not participate. And now President Donald Trump said he's going to step in to fill the void. Trump announced Saturday in a social media post that he would be holding a campaign rally to take the place of the highly paid, as he said, third-rate artist. The president said he would give a major speech rallying the country forward like he has never done since being president. Martina McBride, Western Pennsylvania's own Bret Michaels, Young MC, Morris Day, and The Time and the Commodores have said they will no longer perform, with several aligning themselves by simply saying we were misled about the nature of the event. All right, so let me just say, you have the first right of refusal. You live in the free and most powerful place that is the United States of America. Everybody has the opportunity to make a choice or to change, right? That's your free will that you were born with from the very first breath that you took. But what worries me is that we are losing the connection that is the United States of America and the office of the presidency. Nothing will ever be bigger than the United States of America. Nothing is more important than our Constitution, our democracy, and as we celebrate 250 years of being the United States of America, the Declaration of Independence. I'm so afraid that we are getting away from what really is the red, white, and blue, the field of stars, the flag, the significance of it. Look, you have the right to not appreciate or even follow any administration that holds the most powerful office in the land. But it's the land. It's the country. Now, we just had an incident in the National Football League because of Jackson Dart introducing the president, and one of his teammates, Mr. Carter, took, well, exception to it. But they've hugged and made up. And I must tell you, the bottom line is this. What gift we have in this country is the most powerful gift. The right to simply disagree. But the big picture is it's about coming together as one. And those of you who have been fortunate to earn the opportunity to perform in the most powerful free nation in the world and become entrepreneurs of epic proportion and make wealth beyond your years, I respect your decision. I will continue to be a fan, but I also ask you to look at the true meaning of the 250th birthday and why we celebrate. The F-15 fighter that was shot down over southwestern Iran last month and set off a dangerous rescue mission was probably struck by a Chinese missile. That's right, Chinese missile. Well, now what? So recently our president goes to China and has this summit, and it's met with fanfare. Different thought process. So what I'm saying to you, this really is about local too. Why? We better start utilizing the steel that we have, the opportunities with Nippon and U.S. Steel, the natural gas, the nuclear energy, and we better start building a defense in America. Stronger foundation, not just brick and mortar, but getting people back to work, sweat equity, understanding hard work never hurt anyone. We've got to get tougher. We've got to get a callus around our personality. We have to understand that if we don't stand together, others will simply walk over us. To me, this is the biggest sign of disrespect. You're in China on a mission of goodwill, trying to work out a deal that'll be good for both sides economically off of the tariff news, the trade issues, and everything else, and post-pandemic, and you're trying to stop the price gouging of the regime in Iran with oil, and you're trying to make sense of how you can stop the war in Ukraine by pushing back on Vladimir Putin, a true terrorist, who you, meaning China, at times have aligned yourself with, the government, not the people, and you find out that one of your jets could have been shot down by a missile from China? Is this why we can't stop this war? Is this why Iran continues to fight on? Because they have firepower that's being delivered to them from China? And is China brokering a backroom deal because of the oil? And if we do not remove the regime in Iran and oil does start flowing again and it ends up with China, who eventually gets it to Russia, the war machine fights on, and then they meet in the middle, and then it's 2 against 1. Align yourself with no one. Protect your border. Stay within your own country. Help the citizenship. This is not a Democratic or a Republican issue. This is a national security issue. The buck stops here on your desk, Mr. President. Don't let that story just fall to the wayside. Do the deep dive. We're counting on you. I'll tell you, a lot of crazy things that are happening. 866-391-1020. As always, you can listen to us at 100.1 FM, AM 1020. KDK on that Odyssey app, AUDACY, but you can also watch us online with the KDK video stream presented by Metropolitan Window Company. Just go to kdkradio.com and click on Watch KDK Radio Live Stream, or now you can just go to our KDK Radio YouTube page and watch everything we are doing in the studios. Don't forget, if you know someone in your community that has done something extraordinary in the past year, nominate them now, kdkradio.com, to be honored at this year's Larry's Hometown Heroes event. And the Berg Proud Challenge is gaining momentum, and we need you. Join the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank along with the Penguins, Pirates, and Steelers by moving 30 miles this June. You can grab one-of-a-kind Berg Proud T-shirts featuring all 3 black and gold logos when you start a fundraising campaign and raise your first $25. Plus, your contribution goes twice as far thanks to a matching grant from the Richard King Mellon Foundation. Sign up today at pittsburghfoodbank.org/Odyssey, Pittsburgh PGH. And remember, celebrate with Berg Babes Bash Saturday, June 6th at Allegheny Landing. Shop women-owned businesses, enjoy craft tasting, and vibe with live DJs hosted by WAMO's Kiki Jones. Don't miss Pittsburgh's biggest celebration of women. Tickets on sale now at babesburg.com. Okay, we're going to open the phones at 866-391-1020. Don't forget, NASCO Roofing Instant Access to our shows is a click away. Email us at Instant Access, kdkradio.com. Your Pratt Pack will be right back.
News, weather, traffic, and business every day. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
News Radio KDKA Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Quality Foods with 8 locations to serve you a Pittsburgh tradition. O'Neal Cruz hit his 13th homer of the year, and the Pirates beat Minnesota 10-9 last night. 2 teams again this afternoon at PNC Park. First pitch, 1:35. Hear it on 93.7 The Fan. Well, the NBA final is now official. It'll be the Spurs taking on the Knicks Wednesday night, Game 1, tip-off at 8:30. It was San Antonio over the defending champion Thunder. OKC, the final, 111-103 last night. And it was the Riverhounds defeating Miami 2-0. And through 3 rounds of the Charles Schwab Challenge, your leader is Eric Cole. He is at 12 under. He has a 1-shot lead. More sports at 93.7thefan.com.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Paid advertisement for non-attorney spokesperson. Victory Legal Network is not a law firm. Cases may be referred to participating law firms. Compensation is not guaranteed.
Attention parents. Was your baby born premature and then given Similac or Enfamil brand formula in the hospital? Studies now show that premature infants given cow's milk-based baby formula face a much higher risk of developing necrotizing enterocolitis, or NEC. If you or your loved one had a premature baby and was given one of these baby formulas, you may qualify for significant compensation. Visit govictory44.com now to see if you qualify. A recent jury awarded $60 million in compensation to the family of a child who developed NEC. Families are now taking action. Visit govictory44.com now to see if you qualify for significant compensation. If your baby was given Similac or Enfamil and later diagnosed with NEC, you may qualify for significant compensation, but time is limited. Strict filing deadlines apply, and waiting could mean losing your opportunity for justice. Don't wait. Visit govictory44.com today to see if you qualify. That's govictory44.com.
Paid for by Victory Legal Network.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Pittsburgh's 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
You know, we got focusing a lot on what was happening locally with the city's finances, Pittsburgh Public Schools. And we kind of didn't spend that much time talking about some international news yesterday. And when I was preparing for today's show, and that story jumped off that app of ABC News Radio and others, I just started thinking, Chinese missiles? I mean, look, I'm not saying that I'm shocked, but coming off the summit, now we know why Iran continues to fight on. And do you have anything to say? We had a couple of callers that dropped off when we went to commercial break. I want you to call back because I want to give you an opportunity. We're in open talk just for 1 hour, but we'll be here all week, 6 to 10. But I just hope these performers understand it's not so much about President Trump. It's about celebrating America's 250th birthday. And we are losing sight in this country, and this just didn't happen overnight, okay? This has been going on for a very long time, that we have this disconnect that's happening right now in our country. And that disconnect is they're not able to separate the presidency and the history of this country. There have been good and bad presidents. Even when Richard Nixon left the White House in disgrace, it was him, wasn't the office. So if I'm a performer and I get a chance to perform on a big stage, helping this country celebrate 250 years, and more than likely I will not be here for number 300, and I'm in the prime of my career or I still have something that I can give, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. What are your thoughts? 866-391-1020. Here's Rich in Jefferson Hills. Rich, good morning and welcome to KDKA.
I know, Rob. Yeah, that's sort of babyish, these people backing out. It's almost like a child. doesn't get his way, they pot and run away. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like you said, in the prime of their life, are they going to be around for the 300th anniversary? More than likely not. But, Donald Trump, once again, steps up to the plate. That's all I can say. In my estimation, I'll be 74 June 1st. He's probably the best president I've ever seen in my life. I might see another one after him. Hopefully I will. But God bless him and God bless America.
Yeah, listen, look, you got to look at the flag first and forget about the person in office because, as we celebrate JFK's birthday, if he were a president today with the media that's out there and the ability to get the backstory, even if it's tabloid journalism, he would be suffering from all sorts of issues. So, let's not get lulled into a false sense of security and think about all the people who've been president before Donald Trump were squeaky clean, because they were not. The one thing about Donald Trump, and you can put him up against any president from any era, no one worked harder. Maybe the only person who worked harder was FDR because he had a lot more to deal with. But I've never met anybody who's worked as hard as this guy. And he really is trying to celebrate 250. Any other administration would have had a parade or visited a parade, and that would have been it, or had fireworks over the Washington Monument. But this guy really wants the country to embrace this holiday and give them a party that they won't forget. And I just don't see why these performers want to take it upon themselves. And here's the thing. If he is doing so bad and you're worried about it hurting your career, why is it that every politician he backs, and recently in the primaries in places like Texas, they win? So I'm just saying, and some of these country performers, some of their biggest fan base is in the South. Because that's country music, that's the oasis, if you will. It makes no sense to me. You got to be able to separate and just go perform and leave it. You don't need to make a political statement, just perform.
Well, that's what it is. It's a political statement. And once again, like you just said, go perform and leave it be.
Yeah.
Celebrate America.
Makes no sense. Rich, appreciate the call, buddy. 866-391-1020. Don't forget, Father Tom Burke coming up in about an hour, Catholic Education Plus, Bishop Canavan High School, taking summer camp serious with some great opportunities. And we'll be talking all about that coming up right after our update of that 6:30 news. 866-391-1020. Let's go to Florida and say good morning to our pal Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia, good morning.
Hey, good morning. The last caller mentioned the flag. So I have to say, people need to read the National Defense Authorization Act, Section 224. They are trying to integrate the U.S. military with Israel. Formal vote is on June 4th. You need to contact your representatives and tell them no. Because I was listening to the news, and they were saying about this Iran deal that they have to get Israel's cooperation. We're not part of Israel. But I called about the Chinese missile. I think Iran has manufactured a copy of the Chinese missile. So nothing has been proven. And as to these people that don't want to perform, there's a wrestling match on the lawn of the White House. When has this ever happened?
No, it's a UFC fight. Teddy Roosevelt. That's the ultimate fight. That's the guys in the cage, the octagon. And the gals, you don't know anything about it. Well, anyway, what I'm saying is Teddy Roosevelt did it all the time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Come on now, Cynthia. You got to learn a little history here for me. But anyway, what do you think about these performers backing out like that?
Well, maybe their fan base is objected. I don't know. So whatever. How many are performing now?
Basically, he's the show, and I got to tell you, I laughed. Though, you know what he was quoted as saying just last night? He said, "I'm bigger than Elvis." He said,
I could say that's true.
He said, "I'm bigger than Elvis. I'll bring a bigger crowd than Elvis." Look, if I had a chance and I was a performer to do that, I would do it just simply to say, "Look, grandkids, this says nothing. This is about America's 250th birthday. That's all."
Yeah.
So, well, we'll see.
I'm glad we survived it.
Hey, but I'm still thinking it's the 1976 celebration. Where did that time go?
Yeah, I don't know. Time. I'm thinking some days it's Monday and it's Friday.
Well, listen, I told somebody yesterday, and this is the truth. I got up to come to work yesterday, as I always do, about 2 o'clock. And I swear it was like it was just last Saturday.
Yeah. Time is flying.
It's going by way too quick. Cynthia, have a great day. Good talking to you. So what do you folks think about these performers? And these are some of my favorites. I mean, they really are. And they've said no to the president. You see, that's not good. And honestly, I'm just going to say this, and I don't mean it in a derogatory way, but some of the names, and I mentioned them earlier, and I don't need to name them again, but some of them should look at this as a career opportunity. You see, back in the day, when the record industry was vinyl, you performed concerts to sell records, right? But now, because people can download music, it's concerts where they make their money. And some of these acts are still out performing. I just saw that the great Frankie Valli at 92 canceled the rest of his shows this summer because he's dealing with some health issues. But I mean, think about Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. The early 60s, the Ed Sullivan Show. Frankie Valli is still touring and still making an incredible living. So a lot of these performers who've had better days when it comes to hit records are still performing, selling out big rooms, some cases arenas. I mean, you've got some of these people who literally tour day in and day out from spring to summer to fall. Look at Bruce Springsteen, who does not like the president at all, but Bruce Springsteen sells his entire catalog, okay? And all he does is tour the world, and he can get as a big an audience at a football stadium in Ireland, meaning soccer stadium, as he can coming to Pittsburgh. I mean, the guy tours continuously. I can't tell you how many times have I heard, this is the farewell tour. This is the goodbye tour. This is the once and only. I mean, and people are spending $500, $600, $700, $800 to $1,000 a ticket. I mean, this is what they do. And if you're the Commodores or you're Martina McBride, you have a chance to get on this stage, one song, one moment in time, with the backdrop of the flag, fireworks, 250th birthday. You launch another career, and you are performing for the next 10 years off of this show. So even if you don't like this guy or his policies, or you're worried how your fan base, you have to look at the big picture, because that's what we're looking at. This is going to be seen around the world. This guy is a promoter. Remember, he was in Atlantic City promoting boxing, wrestling, another form of football called the USFL, The Apprentice on NBC. He will find a way to make this work. But what worries me is that we are getting away from what this 250th birthday is all about. This isn't even about Washington and Jefferson and Ben Franklin. It's not even about that. It's about our country, what we have gone through, the trials and tribulations, and how we have survived as this country and gone through so much to get to this point. And I'll tell you, you better get an extra slice of cake, because I'm not so sure if we don't change things and turn it around that we're going to be able to celebrate a 300th birthday. Rome, the empire, didn't make it to 300. So buyer beware. You better buy into this 250 with red, white, and blue. Forget about if it's a red or blue state or who is in office, but it's about surviving 250 as the United States of America. Back with more in a moment.
Pittsburgh, we've got a problem. Home care is in crisis and there aren't enough caregivers to meet the demand. So if you've got a loved one with Medicaid and needs care, don't wait. Freedom Care was built for this moment. We help you get care at home from someone you already trust, a family member or friend who can get paid to help with everyday needs like meals, medication, bathing, and mobility. If you have Medicaid, it's 100% free to you. No waiting lists, just real care from your people right now. Freedom Care handles it all, training, payroll, and support, so you can stay safe and comfortable at home, and your caregiver gets paid after every shift, guaranteed. With 97% satisfaction and over 150 million hours of care delivered, Pittsburgh families are already making the switch to care at home. Take care of your own and get paid with Freedom Care. Call 412-844-5990. That's 412-844-5990. Call now, 412-844-5990. 412-844-5990.
Tune in this Sunday morning at 8 for the Coons Cooking Hour with Rob Pratt and the Coons Market team when they discuss favorite grilled foods and who cooks outside at your house. It's the Coons Cooking Hour, presented by Coons Market, your hometown Pittsburgh grocer.
Hearing the news every day is one thing. Hearing it hit home is something altogether different. That's the difference you hear every day on KDKA Radio. We go beyond the benign headlines and bring the news to life, your life. So stay here and hear the news and what a difference it makes. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. We've learned this weekend that 5 Americans, including U.S. troops, were injured in an Iranian missile attack on a U.S. base in Kuwait Wednesday. We're told they've since returned to duty. In Laos, 4 of the 6 remaining miners trapped in a flooded cave are now out. Josh Richardson, part of the rescue team.
I was literally about to head into the cave myself when all of a sudden we heard all these cheers and spun around, and 4 very muddy miners just suddenly emerged out of the cave on their own.
The 2 other men still trapped inside. Officials announcing the bodies of 9 missing individuals have been found at the site of a blast and ruptured chemical tank at a paper mill in Washington state. The driver in Friday's deadly chain reaction bus crash along I-95 just south of Washington, D.C. has been charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. And Southern Command says a U.S. airstrike on an alleged drug smuggling boat in the Eastern Pacific has killed 3 men. That happened today. This is ABC News.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm for the people. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, 603 Stanwick Street, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania lawyer will handle Pennsylvania cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Sunshine is in store for the start of the new week with a nice day today and a high of 76, giving way to a partly cloudy sky for tonight. It stays dry with a low of 49, with tomorrow also looking quite comfortable with just a few clouds here and there and a high of 75. Then more sun for Tuesday and another high of 75. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, here we go. Be back with you on Monday, and it'll be a great one. Enjoy the weekend, and I'll talk to you on Monday. Colin Dunlap right here, KDKA, 2 to 6.
So 866-391-1020 is the number to dial. So let me ask you this. If you were a musical performer, and I was Donald Trump, and I would ask you to perform to help celebrate America's 250, would you do it? Would you do it? Answer me that. Would you do it? I would. I'd jump at the chance. You know, I think about some of the great inaugurations and entertainers, like when Reagan went in, Sinatra, Don Rickles. I mean, having the chance to perform on that stage, it's epic. And you must get over the fact about this man's policies. And do you realize, if by some chance it works out in Iran, and I think the only reason that it won't is because, and I'm going to be honest with you, the only reason it won't is because of the midterms and him getting pushback from members of his own party. That's what I think. That's what I think. It will not work. It will not work. Because if he gets an opportunity, and after this story about that missile being made in China possibly, I would do my due diligence and find out if it's fact or fiction. And if it is, that's it. I would start ramping up business in America. And if we cannot do certain things because we don't have the ability to make certain things in this country anymore, then I'd find somebody else who could do it for me. It'd be that simple. I'd find somebody else who could do it for me. But I would sever all ties with China. And I would literally tell the Chinese people, why do you want to be in a country that they take away every opportunity for you to do something? You know their wages are next to nothing. You know they keep selling the Chinese people a bill of goods. I mean, if they do this to us, how in the world could they ever not do it to their own people? You tell me, would you perform? I would be excited to perform, excited to be a part of history. Do you understand? This is 250 years. This isn't coming around again. This is my last stop in this incredible thing that is life. I may not even be here for 275, and there's a good chance that I won't. So I'm going to try to soak this up as much as I can. And I don't care if it's vanilla ice, and it might just be. Let me just say this. Do you think Sinatra would say no to this? You think James Brown would say no to this? Do you think Elvis Presley would say no to this? You think Barbara Streisand? Maybe now, yeah, she would probably say no. But other than that, some of the greatest performers of the last 100 years, do you think that they would say no? I mean, Ronald Reagan was a polarizing individual. He got Sinatra, Don Rickles. I mean, they were the A-listers. They were huge. I'd still give Lee Greenwood a call. Greatest anthem song next to our national anthem out there. God Bless the USA. Still gives me chills up and down my spine. There were times in our country when I was growing up, especially during the Vietnam War, when LBJ was in there and there were no answers and he was backpedaling and we were all hoping for civil rights. I know at least my family was, to get passed. But we were also thinking that the Vietnam War would never end. And luckily it did, but we basically walked away, once again, non-victorious. And then Richard Nixon let the entire country and the world down by leaving the presidency in disgrace. He should have stayed there and tried to get out while the getting was good, as opposed to walking away and opening up a Pandora's box that we've never been able to get all the monsters back in the box since. Look, remember the Vietnam War? Bob Hope? I mean, the Vietnam War was polarizing as polarizing can be. Even World War II and Korean vets thought it was shameful. There were protesting. There were licenses being burnt, draft cards being burnt. The Democratic Convention in 1968. Woodstock, Monterey, I mean, musicians. But they performed. They performed and wrote songs about America. We had the British invasion, the Stones, the Beatles. They were performing in some of the biggest American venues around and making a patriotic statement whenever they could, how great America was, the land of opportunity. We're glad to be here. We have a chance now. If you can make it in America, you can make it anywhere. And that may be really, when you think about civil rights and what was happening, James Brown making statements, I'm black and I'm proud. Berry Gordy, Motown Smokey making statements, doing things when many of them couldn't even use the same restaurants in the South that white people were using. But they still believed in America. You had men from families who were working class poor, whites, blacks, And they went off to fight, knowing that many of them wouldn't come back. But they still went. They didn't run. They didn't hide. Nobody agreed with the Vietnam War. But as I have talked to in my life, so many of the Vietnam veterans, they've said the same thing. It was my duty. It was my duty to go. And they did. And many of them spent 18 months, and sadly, their lives were never the same. Never. They were never the same. But they went. But these same people were listening to musicians and music over in Vietnam that some were protesting about the United States. Country Joe and the Fish, if you remember that song. Be the first one on your block to have your son brought home in a box. I mean, it was horrible, but they still believed in the flag, and they still believed in patriotism, and they still believed in America. And the opportunities that we have now in this country have never been more fruitful. I mean, look what this country did for the millions of Americans when the pandemic broke out, and many only had barely a month worth of savings to survive. If it's not for the government, do you understand how many people would be bankrupt and destitute now? How many people would have died of hunger? How many people would have been homeless? You think the homeless issue is a problem now. Can you imagine what it would have been like if the government did not bail out as many people as it did? So how is it now when we have all of the bells and whistles and everything that we have going? Every community should have a parade. Everyone should be grilling out. Everybody should be going to the beach. Everybody should be celebrating with a backyard badminton game. This is one of the biggest events in the history of the United States of America. And you have a chance to be a part of it. So if he asks, would you perform? 866-391-1020. All right, so Mary Hours, KDKA TV First Alert Forecast. It was 48 degrees when I left my house, and today's the final day. Today's the final day in May. So are we going to turn this around like by tomorrow, hopefully?
The mornings are still going to be a little bit on the cooler side just because we have those clear skies and we have low humidity. But the afternoons, I mean, mid to upper 70s, it's seasonable. We're ending the month, I think, just a couple degrees below average. We're above normal for precipitation. But, I mean, we have a streak of sunshine. We're probably going to go, I mean, our next chance of rain isn't until maybe Saturday. So that would be, 10, 11 days. We haven't had measurable precipitation since I believe, the 27th on Wednesday. So, yeah, a nice big dry streak, and it's quiet.
So when you're out in public, whether you're performing or you're at a family function or it's date night, did people ask you about the weather?
Sometimes.
So
they do sometimes.
This is my question. So if you're planning a vacation, and it's been a long time for me, but say there's families out there like you that have children and they're happy and they're getting ready to go to the beach or wherever they're going, what really are the best months if you're going to be on the East Coast, in your opinion, for a beach vacation? What are the best months to go?
Well, I would say, probably July. I mean, even in June, though, like mid-June, I went to the Carolinas, and it was gorgeous last year there. So, I mean, if you're going to Disney, it's always hot there.
It is.
You've got that. I would say, yeah. I mean, obviously, probably June, just to get out because everyone wants to. School's out, and you're like, let me go. I want to leave. I want to go to the beach. But I mean, July and August is also super hot.
The rule of thumb was always the third and fourth week of June, first and second week of July.
Yeah, that's pretty standard.
Well, and here's the other thing, real quick before I let you go. I don't think people realize it's hot here in the summer, but in Florida it's stifling, and in Vegas it is a dry heat. But if you are out by the pool, you better have some sunscreen on. But here's the thing: so I go to Florida one year in July to Jacksonville, and I keep hearing about all the heat and how horrible it is. So I get out of the plane. And I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. Then I realize I'm still in the airport. Mary, when I tell you those doors open at that airport and I stepped outside on a July night many, many years ago, I have never felt heat like that in my life. I don't think people realize the heat of Florida in the summertime.
Yeah, I've actually never been to Florida. So
really?
I'm excited to go. Yeah, we're going to go to Disney for the first time right on Halloween. So we'll be there like the end of October, beginning of November. And I'm trying to plan outfits, but I'm like, I'll take like a sweatshirt, maybe if it gets chilly at night, but it's going to be maybe hot during the day. And yeah,
Your kids,
excited.
your kids will absolutely love it. It's the greatest place on the planet.
Yay, I'm so excited.
I'm telling you, you won't even find a piece of chewing gum on the ground. These people work
wow.
It's incredible. They work overtime. Well, and I'll just tell you a quick story. So I'm in Florida on one of my many trips to Florida, and I'm in this little restaurant. And so I look at this beautiful china, and you're too young. You may not remember, but I flipped the plate over, and on the bottom of the plate, it had Mare China, Beaver Falls.
Way.
Yes, and I was making such a big deal out of it, and everybody, including my wife at the time, thought I was nuts. And I'm like, look at this. This is marriage. I'm trying to tell my kids. They don't get it either. But I thought that was so cool, being in Florida, decades after the place closed down, and lo and behold, I flipped this plate over, and it said Mare China in Beaver Falls, which happens to be your home turf.
Yeah, literally. That's nuts.
I know. It is nuts.
Oh.
All right. Well, listen, go do your thing. Have a great day. But real quick, the 5-day if you can before you leave. First alert.
Oh, yeah. It's so quiet. It's nice. We have sunny skies, low humidity. Today, tomorrow, mid-70s. We're in the mid-70s Tuesday. We do start to get back to the 80s on Wednesday. So at least upper 70s, maybe touching 80 for some. And then mid-80s on Thursday. Then it starts to get hot, mostly sunny Friday. And then we'll see maybe the chance for some thunderstorms or some showers on Saturday.
All right. Listen, have a great rest of your day, and we appreciate you, okay?
Thank you. You too.
There she goes. Mary Hours, First Alert Forecast. Speaking of performers, this talented weather person can really sing. I mean, like flat out sing. It's amazing. All right, short break. We'll come back. Let's get some calls in here. Final segment of Open Talk. Coming up next hour, Tech Vibe Radio, and then it's all about Bishop Canavan and what they've got in the way of opportunities for their summer programs. Father Tom Burke, 7 o'clock, Doug, 8 o'clock, Frank Dentisi, the Coons Cooking Hour, and 9 o'clock, Dr. Bridget Shufo, 10 o'clock, Accurate Solutions, and then 11 to 1, it's the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show.
Every Tuesday morning at 7:20, listen for Inside Independence Health, a look at all things healthcare with the experts from Independence Health System. It's brought to you by Independence Health System. Expert care here.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Quality Foods with 8 locations to serve you a Pittsburgh tradition. O'Neill Cruz hit his 13th homer of the year, and the Pirates beat Minnesota 10-9 last night. Two teams again this afternoon at PNC Park. First pitch, 1:35. Hear it on 93.7 The Fan. Well, the NBA final is now official. It'll be the Spurs taking on the Knicks Wednesday night, Game 1, tip-off at 8:30. It was San Antonio over the defending champion Thunder. OKC, the final, 111-103 last night. And it was the Riverhounds defeating Miami 2-0. And through 3 rounds of the Charles Schwab Challenge, your leader is Eric Cole. He is at 12 under. He has a 1-shot lead. More sports at 937thefan.com.
Before you book your next vacation rental, here's something worth knowing. On one real 7-night stay, a family could have saved over $1,200 just by booking directly with SWAC Vacations instead of going through a third-party site. That's real money toward dinners, groceries, beach gear, or a few extra experiences on the trip. Compare direct pricing first at swacvacations.com. SWACK Vacations, same stay, fewer fees.
Save big and head to your local Toro dealer for the spring sales event on now. Groundbreaking savings on Toro zero-turn, stand-on, and walk-behind mowers. Stop in today to check out the great deals and amazing finance offers. For more information on spring sales event deals, visit your local Toro dealer. Norwin Rental at 99 First Street in Irwin, or call 724-864-1150. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to noon. Call 724-864-1150.
Hear about it, then talk about it. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Some budget talk, also some natural gas energy talks. State Representative Josh Kale is going to be here coming up tomorrow night. Then we're going to do something a little different on Tuesday. Lucia Crivelli, Director of the Food and Nutrition for the Nutrition Group. Seamless Summer Option, rural non-program as far as feeding young children is going to be taking place at Rochester, their school district, this coming summer. She's going to drop by and talk about it. I first heard about this. She kind of reached out to me. I've known her father, Dominic, forever. And Dominic actually did some advertising here, was part of the Seven Fishes show, has the Valley Concrete in Ambridge, and just a really dear soul, he and his lovely wife and children. And Lucia, reached out to me and said, look, we're going to be doing this program in which children can come here in the summer and get a breakfast and get a lunch. And, because it's Beaver County and it's not too far from where I live now, I'm in Manaka, and I have family members that grew up in Rochester and did a lot of stuff for that school district through the years. I thought, you know what? Once again, here I am promoting public education because I believe in public education and the opportunities for young people to have a place to go and be safe and play and have fun and get some nutrition and get some good quality time with people and friends and neighbors and what have you, especially with 2-paycheck households and everybody on the run. And these economic times we're living in which people are paying over $5 for a gallon of gasoline, utility prices are going up. I thought to myself, I got to put her on the air to promote this. So we're going to actually put her on the air on Tuesday night to give her a chance to tell everybody about it. And there are other school districts that are going to be doing it this summer. So another indication of what the great state of Pennsylvania and our education department, the governor and others are actually doing for public education. So I love it. I think it's cool. And as I was telling her, I did a little video blog to promote her appearance here and to give them a little bit of an extra push, which has kind of gone viral, this video. If you want to check it out, it's on my social media platform. We did it just the other day. I was with the principal and some of the cafeteria workers, and it was really a cool time that we had at Rochester. But other school districts are doing it too. So you may want to check out who might be doing it in your community, your school district. And if you live in the Rochester School District, everything is at their website to be able to check out what they're doing. But imagine if you're a parent and you're working, okay, and your child's going to be home all summer. And one of the best things that I ever did in my life, even if I worked a little bit too much, I gave the mother of my 2 children, Robbie and Eva, an opportunity to stay home for a long time and to be with them during the formative years before she went back and became a school teacher for her second stint. And it was something that even though there were many days I was out there burning fumes and having a hard time keeping my eyes open, it was satisfying knowing that I was sacrificing so she could be there with those kids and give them breakfast, lunch, and dinner and, take them to the pool and do different things, go on vacation, spend time with them. And this thing in Rochester is such a cool event because it's going to give kids a place to go. And if you're a parent and you're on the go or you have to go to work, I don't care who you are. If you're a parent and you feel as though that you're depriving your kids, it's a horrible feeling. I mean, it is a horrible, horrible feeling. And that's why when I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Public School or I'm talking about, food inadequacies and why the Community Food Bank in Pittsburgh is so important and why I love the grocery business so much and why I believe in these recreation departments and why you hear me talking about the summer pools that are opening in Pittsburgh and our great parks that we have like Shenley Park, North Park, South Park. Hey, I grew up Brady's Run Park, which is still free. You can get down there and get a shelter. You can cook out. You can have family reunions. They got a nice little lake down there. First day of trout season, many years as a kid, I remember being on the shores of Brady's Run Lake when we were elbow to elbow with those little rod and reels that we would have from Sears department store. And man, you thought we were like on some exotic island somewhere. So it's the little things that make a big difference. And any chance you get to promote that, it's a really good thing. So I'm really excited about having her here. Now, speaking of, energy and what people are dealing with today, these data centers, I don't care if it's Springdale or if it's Indiana County or Beaver County or any place that these data centers are being talked about. There's good, bad. There's people who are for it. There's a lot of controversy behind it. But I saw a big splash out of Indiana County on social media yesterday, and I knew it was going to be a definite good proposition. But I did not know $15 billion that's going to be coming into that community because of that data center. So former Congressman Keith Roffish joins me Wednesday night. Keith and I, during his time at Congress, we talked about the energy grid all the time. And I know there's concern. People are worried about the price of their electricity going up. but it's not going to affect your electricity at all. These are data centers that are going to be powered either by a nuclear power plant, in which they're going to be paying the freight, natural gas, I believe, eventually as well, in which they're going to be paying the bill, the data centers and people who have them, like Meta and others. And you don't get a great name like Meta signing a 20-year contract with the one in Beaver County by that nuclear power plant and shipping port unless this is long-term. Look, technology is not going anywhere, okay? And as we hit birthday 250 and zoom towards 300, it's going to be amazing what AI is going to be doing in this country. And I know there are people pushing back, and there are performers, especially, and others who are critical of it, but it's not going away. It's not going away. So you better just learn to embrace it. And there are some jobs that are fail-safe from it, but for the most part, it will evolve like anything else. It's no different than when we got power tools. We got electricity. I'm sure back in the day, the craftsmen of the era thought, oh, no, we have power tools that can be run by electricity or on gasoline. It's going to take away manual labor and my skill. And it didn't. It just gave them a chance to evolve, and it's another tool in the toolbox. And AI, in my opinion, is the exact same thing. It is just another tool in the toolbox. And if we don't learn to embrace that, well, guess what? Somebody else will. You know, I mentioned China earlier. You don't think for 1 second, and they've got billions of people who are depending on a paycheck, you don't think for 1 second that they're going to not embrace AI? And when you think about what artificial intelligence can do, it's mind-boggling, and we're just in the infancy right now. So we could actually get into an industrial age in this country again and start ramping up and rebuilding our country by paving new roads and bridges and doing stuff that we could never do before because of the manpower could only go at a certain rate. We only had so many men and women to work in the building trades and to be able to get things done. But now with people in the building trades, carpenters, electricians, and plumbers, and what they're able to do, this AI is going to be like a slide ruler. It's going to be like a hammer. It's going to be like plowers, a screwdriver, a drill. They're going to be able to do things that are absolutely going to be off the charts. And America is going to grow like never before. So what you need to do, you need to understand one thing. You're either in it to win it or you're not going to win it. So we have to find a way to step forward into a new era. And that new era is none other than AI. So get ready. We're going to make it work. We're going to do some incredible things moving forward as a nation. So don't fear. Be positive. Wrap your arms around it and embrace it. America is going to be a great place. Okay, Father Tom Burke is coming up today. He'll be here at 6:30 with Catholic Education Plus. Tech Vibe Radio gets the hour underway right after the news at 6. So stay with us. We got a lot of things going on. We're going to get to ABC News in just a couple of moments. Rob Taylor will be with us starting at 6:30 today. And then we're going to get back and got a lot of stuff to do today. A lot of stuff. Uncle Doug's going to be here. Davy Tree, Talking Tree. We're going to be talking all sorts of great recipes, as always, on the Coons Cooking Hour. 9 o'clock.